Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight. This is quite an honor. What did she mention? How many times do we label people? I know I fall into that scene. It's terrible sometimes how we look at people and we see how they are, and what do? So what I've done is started tonight on the way here. I was pulled up to a traffic light. I was here, car ahead of me, pickup over in the left. Light turns green. Car in front of me moves forward just a little bit. The pickup doesn't move. The car jerked right in front of the pickup and hit her brakes. She said, hit their brakes. I didn't know who it was driving at the time. And the pickup then starts to take off. Also, that car is pulled in front of them. That's a slam on his brakes just a second away from a rear-end collision. And what's the first thing that I did? I couldn't wait to get up next to that car and find out who that was driving. Was it a senior? Was it a female? Was it a male? Was it a young driver? Who could that be? What was I going to do? I was going to label that person so quickly. But luckily I caught myself. How about you? Driving down the road, we all love I-25. Which I-25 is a four-letter word, isn't it? Let's say we're walking across the parking lot. We're going to our grocery store, going to our local mall, and we see somebody walking along. We're coming up to this side, they're coming along here. They're not your race. They may not be your culture, your income, maybe not your achieved status. Maybe not your creed, maybe not your religion. Maybe they're wearing something that shows their religion and it's not yours. What if they're smoking a cigarette? What if they have tattoos all over their face and neck and maybe arms, depending on what they're wearing? Maybe their legs also. Maybe they have umpteen number of earrings in their ear. Maybe they have an earring in their nose, in their lips. Who knows where else they might have those earrings? What are you thinking at that time? What am I thinking at that time? Have you labeled them? I'll tell you a little story just quickly. When I was 18 years old, yes, just a couple of years ago, Friday the 13th of all days. It's late at night. Yes, we'd had a beverage or two. My brother-in-law was driving, going to his house. The last thing I remember. I woke up 27 days later. Woke up, you say? Yes. I was talking to all of my family. My family was there. I was in southern Mississippi at the time, where I'm from. My dad was walking across the hospital room. To me, I woke up like a nap. There's my dad. He's supposed to be in West Texas at the time. I'm down south in southern Mississippi. My dad is walking across the room. I didn't know what kind of room it was. I woke up, there's my dad, and I say, hey, what are you doing here? Good to see you. He says, well, I'm here to see you. I paused. I looked around. Well, in my bedroom, all the walls were bright white. My bed had remote controls on it. That was pretty cool at first, I thought. Then I recognized where I was. I was in the hospital, neurosurgical unit, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I didn't have any hair. It was all shaved off. Huge scar on my hand. Another one across my chest. What an awakening. They told me the story. Driving down the road, front left tire blows out, we go into a ditch. Steering wheel held my brother-in-law, James, in the truck. I went through the window. They said I probably turned this hand this way and ducked this way, but went through the windshield, cut my hand here, my head, They cut on my chest. They gave me 9 pints of blood my first few days in that hospital. They went in the first time, cleaned all the glass out, sewed me up, put me in intensive care. Problems, more glass. Take me back into surgery, take more glass out, put me back in intensive care. But I had 9 pints of blood during that time. Now let's think a minute. Where was I? Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Anybody else know where that is? Oh, good. Good, a couple of them. Just southeast of Jackson. Hour north of New Orleans. Was that blood good blood? Was the blood that I received of the people that are the same religion I am? Was the blood that I received of people that lived the quality of life, at least I thought I lived? Do you think my parents, me in intensive care, checked every pint of that blood? I said, what kind of blood are you giving my son? Did the person that gave this blood have tattoos? Did they have a bunch of earrings in their ears and everywhere else? Did they smoke? What was their race? Do you think my parents asked any of that? No, not a chance. They said, help my son live. Did you know there's only 4 blood types? A, B, and O. No matter what your race, creed, color, sexual orientation. 4 blood types. Now there's a positive and a negative on each one of those, but still, 4 blood types. No matter how many races we come across, no matter the religions that we see, no matter what we see as far as we classify anyone else, there's still 4 blood types. So that person that you just labeled, person I labeled on the way here, would I let that person give my child blood if their blood type's matched? Absolutely. So what do? I ask myself 3 questions. Number 1, was what that person did, pulling in front of that truck, my issue? No, it wasn't. If he would have hit her from behind, I would have stopped. I wouldn't have left the scene of an accident. But was what that driver did any part of my issue? Absolutely not. If that would have been me in that car ahead of me, and I pulled in front of someone else, they hit their horn, I almost have an accident, or did have an accident, how would I want people to rate me? What's the label that I would want? Oh, it would be that he just made a mistake. He didn't know where he was, didn't know where he was going. I hope it wouldn't be a negative label of any major effect. Because that's question number 3. If someone else would have been there and I would have made that mistake and they would have labeled me middle-aged, white, trash, would that have affected me? Not anymore. Because that's what a label is. Just someone's temporary opinion. It doesn't affect me. So you know what? I'm not going to label anyone else. I'm not going to have that hate. I'm going to share life as we all should. We are all one. We should all be together. And then stop the labeling unless we say something good. Toastmaster.